Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I actually haven't done a topic like this in a long time. So sometimes I come across articles that are related to our industry that I have to comment on and share my thoughts and opinions about it, because I kind of have a story that I can relate to about this one, and I just feel bad for all the girls that were involved in this situation. I'm gonna link the article down below in the description box so you can follow along and read it for yourself if you like. But the title is Long Island Strip Club Ran as a Thinly Disguised Brothel with Soundproof Sex Rooms for VIP Clients, Ex-Dancer Claims. A Long Island strip club operated as a thinly disguised brothel where managers sold dancers to high rollers for sex behind locked, soundproof doors. An explosive new $2.5 million lawsuit claims. Management at Gossip Restaurant and Cigar Bar in Melville allegedly ran a clandestine concierge pipeline where wealthy clients paid thousands of dollars for sex acts in VIP rooms as security stood guard outside, according to the filing in Manhattan's Supreme Court. If a customer wanted to rape and kill you, they could do it back there, one dancer quoted in the lawsuit. The complaint was brought by ex-dancer turned attorney Christine DeMaria, who claimed two of the club's VIP rooms were specifically designed to isolate women for sexual access, soundproofed and with locks on the outside. Gossip's managers actively tried to coerce DeMaria and other dancers to cross the line from lawful exotic dancing into unlawful prostitution, the suit alleges. DeMaria claimed she was viciously blacklisted and fired on a fake theft charge after repeatedly blowing the whistle on the club's monetized trauma. I was told over and over that this was just part of the job, she said in a statement. It is not. I did not consent to being assaulted because I danced for a living. No one does, DeMaria said. Our bodies are not the price of employment. When she began dancing at the Long Island Jiggle Joint, I'm not sure why they called Jiggle Joint, in 2016, she thought that the club's steep fees and ever-present male staff were there to protect the dancers from the constant risk of sexual assault, the filing claims. But she soon realized that the house fee system was set up to funnel dancers to more lucrative work in several private rooms in the basement, according to the suit. Within weeks of starting the filing claims, DeMaria witnessed her co-workers performing sex acts, allegedly, and orchestrated and monetized by Gossip management. And Gossip is the name of the club. Visiting porn stars openly engaged in sex acts, including performing oral sex on stage, once with a customer joining in, the suit alleges. Several dancers claimed to DeMaria that they had been sexually assaulted by Gossip's clients following an on-stage sex performance that emboldened the creeps, the lawsuit states. The situation took an even darker turn in 2022 when the dancers' locker room was renovated to include a new pair of private VIP areas that were soundproofed and had locks on the outside of the doors, this lawsuit alleges. The club charged a $2,000 fee for these high roller rooms, which became spaces where oversight disappeared and boundaries became negotiable, states the filing. The suit claims that in early 2022, a Gossip manager forced two dancers into a VIP room with a client who brutally raped and assaulted both women, as the manager and a bouncer stood outside. A few months later, a client grabbed DeMaria's private parts, aggressively causing significant pain inside one of the VIP rooms, and she booted him from the room in response. After several more alleged aggressive episodes that year and increased peer pressure to join in on sex to compel even higher fees from customers, DeMaria went to management to complain, her suit states. Managers then allegedly accused her of stealing $40 from another dancer and fired her, she claims. She later graduated law school, founded a nonprofit for sex workers, and was awarded the prestigious $200,000 David Prize in 2023. She is seeking at least $2.5 million for gender, sexual harassment, retaliation, and wage violations at the club. An attorney for Gossip did not respond to requests for comment. DeMaria has sued at least 4 other strip clubs with similar allegations this year, including Sapphire 60 on the Upper East Side. While the incidents vary from club to club, the pattern is unmistakable. Some strip clubs profit by tolerating and even fostering a culture where women are assaulted or coerced into prostitution, said DeMaria's attorney. Let's be absolutely clear, sexual assault is illegal everywhere, and that includes inside a strip club. And I definitely agree with that statement. Wow, I am so sorry to her and all those ladies that worked at Gossips up there. I've never been to that state before. I don't know anybody that's ever worked there, but wow. See, this is why I always say, like, finding really safe strip clubs to work at can be so incredibly difficult and hard. And this is why, like, I feel like some ladies are just not like forced into it, but like sometimes they might not have a choice because there might not just be a lot of strip clubs in the area that they live. And as it is, a lot of us have to drive more than an hour sometimes just to get to work, depending on where we live. And of all the people that I know that work, dancers seem to be the ones that have to do the most sometimes when it comes to getting themselves to and from work, working long hours, working third shift, nights, and doing pulling like long shifts at work, and going many days in a row of working. I don't know a lot of other professions except for doctors that pull that kind of schedule. If you guys are watching this and you are not a dancer and you've never danced in your entire life, dancers actually are the least lazy of the professions out there. A lot of times they go 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row of straight working with no days off. A lot of us will have to pull 8, 9, 10, up to 12-hour shifts, especially if you work at a bigger club. And you are expected to put in at least 3-day schedules at most clubs. Some clubs it depends, but a lot of times they want you to work a minimum amount of days. And you might get a choice between first, second, or third shift if your club has all 3. But a lot of times to get on the better shifts, you have to have seniority, which means in order to get seniority at clubs, you have to work a lot there. That's how you go up the ranks at strip clubs. You have to be there a lot, and you have to be reliable and consistent and show up and pay your house fees and all that jazz. And sometimes, yeah, I remember when I was younger, especially, I feel like clubs take advantage of young dancers too, because young dancers don't know any better. They don't understand that they can say no and that they don't have to be coerced into working 7 days straight with no days off. But I guess for me, when I was young, when I first started, I just didn't have responsibilities. So I was okay with it. But I also worked at a club that really wanted us, they wanted house girls. They wanted girls that were there regularly, that they could depend on. So like for me, it wasn't coercion. It was just, they just wanted, like if they saw a girl that had potential and they knew she could do well there, they just wanted to curate that. And I really do, looking back, I think that for that, because it did help with like learning a lot of discipline and just knowing, like, yeah, you got to show up, right? If you say you're going to do something, you're going to show up. But I even remember working those types of 6-7 days in a row type of thing, and then just getting like one day off and then going right back at it and working 12-hour shifts. And then as I got older and I learned that I could, I could be more like, okay, no, or I got stuff to do, or as my responsibilities became more and more, I stopped doing that. But anyway, the point is finding clubs that are safe to work at is very important. I always say if you see a lock on a door at a strip club, like a champagne room or any kind of lap dance area in a club, is a bad sign. I don't even believe that there should be doors in strip clubs, like in areas where customers are, unless it's the bathrooms, of course. But if there's doors on places where customers and dancers can be together, that's usually a red flag, because there's no reason to have a door at a strip club. Like, there should be curtains, okay? The separation between the club and like the main floor area and you and your customer should be very, very partial. Like, there should not be a whole lot of separation from you and the security and the club and the main floor, because that's when things happen and people got to be able to see what's going on, and there's no reason to have a door. Any reputable club is going to use either beaded curtains or sheer curtains or something like that, where there is minor separation. Not a wall, okay, that's another thing. Not a wall, not a door. So, ladies, next time you're looking for a place to work, just remember that. It's never, and I don't care, their excuses might be, it's just the way the club is or whatever. That's just bullshit. I'm telling you right now, there is no reason for a club to have that kind of separation. It's very dangerous, because if that door locks, how the heck are you going to get out of there if something goes south? And that's exactly what will happen. You'll end up getting assaulted. Now, I can relate to this story a little bit, because I had a really good friend that worked at a club, and she worked there for a little bit, and she worked day shift there, and she went into a VIP room with a customer, and supposedly this guy had been like a regular there, okay, but she hadn't worked there long, so she didn't really know anything about him. It was her first time dancing for him, okay? In this club, you had the option of turning the lights on and off in the room, which was also kind of odd. I also don't think that can be a red flag. If the champagne room lighting is, if you're able to turn it off, or there's no lighting and it's totally dark, that's also a bad sign. But I don't know, for some reason you were able to change the lighting in there. And she was, a bouncer put her onto this guy, right? And said, oh yeah, how sometimes the club will help you with money. They might like help you hustle and point you in the right direction of who's got money or something. Anyway, she hooked up with this guy, and they went back and did a room, and everything was fine until it wasn't. And this club didn't have doors on it, but it had this weird light feature. And the lights were off for some reason. She couldn't get them back on, but it didn't matter, because the guy started assaulting her, and she couldn't get him off of her. He was too large, and he totally overpowered her. And nobody heard her because the music was too loud. The lights were off, which leads me to believe that this club knew that this guy did that kind of stuff, and they knew like girls that went back with him had sex with him, and they probably just didn't care. Whatever happened. And since she had no idea that he was that type of dude and that they were allowing that kind of behavior, she was led right into the lion's den. So ladies, just please, when you're looking for places to work, I know sometimes you're in really bad situations or there's an emergency that you're trying to deal with and you need some quick cash, but I promise you, it is not worth the possibility of you getting assaulted than whatever bad thing that you think is happening to you financially. I promise you it can wait, whatever it is. Honestly, like, you're better off sleeping on the street or whatever you have to do than putting up with a club that treats you like this, or it has these kinds of things in it that are huge red flags, because you're just never going to be the same person after that. I know my girlfriend never was after that, and unfortunately for her, she felt like she couldn't go to the police or tell anybody because she was afraid of her reputation and what people would think. And it's just so sad because, you know, for her, it was more important that her family didn't find out what she was doing than helping herself and reporting this guy. So I just would hate to see that one more girl go through some shit like that, because I watched my best friend go through it and she was never the same person after that. You know, we were both happy dancers. Like, she was a really good hustler, made a lot of money. She taught me a lot of things because she was a little bit older than me. And after that, you know, things weren't the same. So, have any of you been in a similar situation or walked into a club that had these types of doors and locks and things on them? Let me know in the comments what you think about this story and if you can relate to it. And if you have any other further questions, feel free to leave it down below, and I will see you in the next video.